Lagos is internationally acclaimed as a mega city with a population estimated at over 22 million inhabitants. Inherent sector management weaknesses have affected the public transport system in Lagos for decades. Recognizing the need to improve the transport sector in Lagos State, a number of studies were conducted in the 1990s to define appropriate solutions.
The problem of transportation in Lagos started as far back as 1970, and as a result you find out that people were traveling 4 hours from the island to the mainland and going back the same way. And the reason being was that the federal capital as well as the state capital were both in Lagos. So that generated a lot of demand in terms of movement of vehicles.
The Lagos Mass Transit and Transport Systems (LMTS) Management Program study was undertaken in 1992. This work set out to identify actions necessary to address the complex transport situations in Lagos.
The government was very much concerned with the problem of traffic congestion in Lagos, and they decided to conduct a study which was actually very interesting. They engaged the World Bank, and the World Bank came up with a study saying that Lagos has about 105 individual agencies who are managing traffic in Lagos. Hence, there is no coordination, no collaboration. Everybody is just doing whatever they like. And that led to, and the recommendation was that there should be a single agency. From 1999, when Asiwaju Bola Ahmed became the governor of Lagos State, somehow he got hold of that reports, and he now needed to work on the problem of transportation because it was one of his mandates, and that led to sourcing the right candidate to lead that project, and fortunately, I happened to be the person that was identified.
Lamata was established as a semi-autonomous corporate body with perpetual succession and an independent board responsible for formulation, coordination and implementation of urban transport policies and programs in the Lagos metropolitan area.
Lamata was indeed a World Bank assisted project under the Lagos Urban Transportation Master Plan. This was a master plan that had been properly put together and envisioned by the administration of our current president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, then the governor of the state.
The first thing we identified in the establishment of Lamata was that we need to have a declared road network. And the purpose of declared road network is what you call public transport roads. That is the road where majority of the buses go through, and we now decided that it will be the responsibility of Lamata under the law for the maintenance of this road.
Lagos Bus Rapid Transit (BRT) is one of the signature proposals of the STMP.
The Strategic Transport Master Plan is actually a document that highlights the framework required for planning, for implementation, and the monitoring of transport infrastructure in Lagos, as well as services over the next 2.5 decades.
The pilot Ikorodu TBS BRT is the first example of a comprehensive and integrated approach to improving public transport in sub-Saharan Africa.
The population from Ikorodu actually is quite a lot, and a lot of people are coming from Ikorodu, so they will drive all the way from Ikorodu and park at Mile 12 and then take the BRT to TBS. So we now said, instead of them driving down to Mile 12, why can't we extend to Ikorodu so that it will be easier for them to just take the BRT from there straight on to TBS. And with the support of the government of the day, and as well as the World Bank. It was well accepted. Even the people of Ikorodu were very happy about that.
The World Bank acknowledged that apart from moving passengers on Mars, the BRT system provided jobs for drivers, inspectors, ticket sellers, and mechanics, among others. Besides, Lamata also rehabilitated roads under its Declared Road Network (DRN), which aided seamless origin-destination trips to jobs, markets, hospitals, recreation centers, etc. A major project embarked upon by Lamata is the defining of a Strategic Transport Master Plan (STMP) in 2009, which guides all the investment decisions in public transport infrastructure and other road furniture.
Before we started the STMP, there were a lot of problems in Lagos. So, for example, there were a lot of institutions that were responsible for planning transportation, and so it was fragmented. Secondly, we did not have a good policy in place. And most importantly, you will find out that the services that were provided, there was no framework for actually regulating. And so it resulted in congestion, high air pollution, and most importantly, people not having options. A lot of people were captive to either a particular public transport mode or their cars. And it was important that we put a plan together just to make sure that we give people options, we integrate the modes in such a way that they can move seamlessly from one mode to the other, and to give people options from their cars. And so I think the Strategic Transport Master Plan was important in actually highlighting what we need to put in, just to make sure that we have an effective system. Most importantly, we wanted to use technology to drive the transport system. So it's important that you know which technology best fits the different modes of transport, and then how you can integrate them in such a way that transportation is cheaper, people are able to get information as easy as possible, and just to know where they're going.
Ikeja Terminal was part of the bus reform initiative that we carried out. It's supposed to be a year program, 3 years program, 2017 to 2019. And we have different components of that initiative. And what that initiative tends to achieve is to increase the capacity of our networks and then enhance the experience of the commuters. And basically, what we were trying to do was replacing all the downfalls that we have. You know, at that time, we have over 70,000 downfalls in Lagos. Lagos was really congested, and if you look at the capacity of our road network, the national standard is 11 cars per kilometer, but in Lagos we have 227 cars per kilometer, so it's really congested, and that is why you see the life expectancy in Lagos is nothing to write home about. So definitely what we're trying to do was to replace all the downfalls with high capacity buses.
Projects implemented under the STMP include the Mile 12 to CMS BRT Light, which was later extended to Ikorodu, the Oshodi Abule-Egba BRT, and the TBS Lagos Badagry Expressway BRT.
Okay, so the Abule-Egba Oshodi BRT, if you think about that alignment in itself, that particular road, before the BRT was commissioned, you would do that journey anything from 1.5 hours to 2 hours. But on the completion of the BRT, that journey you would take no more than 35 to 45 minutes maximum. So it's achieving a key milestone for Lamata, which is reduction of journey times. And the population of Lagos have indicated their satisfaction with it. The same thing goes for the Lagos Badagry Expressway BRT system, and that particular one has been particularly useful in alignment with the Blue Line rail that we have now. But if you think about that corridor in itself, it is quite congested, and the provision of a BRT along that corridor has also been very useful. It's reduced journey times, which is one of the key reasons why we put BRTs within the system, and it's moving a lot of people. But the biggest thing is that it is also providing connectivity to the new
rail system that we have now.
A major investment decision by the Lagos State government relates to the building of rail infrastructure for a growing city which lacked adequate transport infrastructure to move the burgeoning population. Following dictates of the STMP, His Excellency, former Governor Babatunde Raji Fashola, started the construction of the Lagos Rail Mass Transit.
Context needs to be set for why Lagos needed a rail intra-city rail transport system. And if you go back to what Alhaji Jakonde had conceived when I was just a teenager, it was a missed opportunity. But so when I had the opportunity to be governor, Lagos had become what was called a mega city. And that was not just a term of art, it was descriptive of the size of Lagos in the, if you like, college of cities. And cities that had, I believe, 10 million people and above were classified as mega cities. So they were like giant cities.
Successfully completed 4 of the 5 stations of the first phase of the rail line at National Theatre, Igomu, Alaba, and Mile 2.
My predecessor in office then, Governor Tinubu, now president, was pursuing the red line because there were 7 lines. Was trying to deal with the red line, but of course partisan politics at the federal government level made it difficult. And so when I took over from him, my thinking was very simple. If we can stand on 2 legs, why should we stand on 1? Let's attempt the blue and the red together. So as we went on, challenges came on again, and then we focused on the blue line because simultaneously we were also constructing the expansion of the Lagos-Badagry Expressway. So it was easier to concentrate activity there while the then federal government was not substantially cooperative about the right of way on the red line. So we finished 4 stations up to Mile 2. We had right of way issues going to Marina. We had sorted those out. And construction, which was the most difficult part across the Marina. That was very difficult because there were federal government assets there and against a not so cooperative political opposition party in government there. It was one at a time, so that slowed us down. Finally, the system is operational, but it's not finished. And just for the record, people may not know this, and I think it's important to put it on record. The dream for the Blue Line was also to connect us to West Africa. And it was my thought that once we reached Badagry, we are going first to Okoko. Who knows, in 20 years, 30 years, the economics, the traffic around that area will justify the extension, and you get to the border. Once you reach there, so I had started talking to presidents of West Africa. I went to Jonathan Mills of Ghana, God bless his soul, that look, anytime he was meeting with President Yaradua, both of them are now deceased, that he should please help me convince Yaradua to talk to the other presidents to see what we were doing, not just for Lagos, but for the sub-region. After all, the Lagos-Badagry Expressway goes all the way through to Senegal. So if we are putting down the road, why don't we start to think of a train? And this is how other parts of the world was built. So I'm happy that baby steps have been made. They will translate to adult steps maybe long after we have left. But that's a conceptual vision.
The rail project received a lot of boost under Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu.
Regarding my own master plan as well, it's not far off from a working master plan that Lamata has, which is that we're meant to have an integrated urban mass transportation system that utilizes rail infrastructure, waterways infrastructure, and road infrastructure in an efficient, manner that is safe, that is secure, and that ensures that the people, which are the beacon of the service, feel, the importance of public transportation in all spheres. And I believe Lamata has been living up onto this bill in the last 20 years.
Lamata, as a Lagos State Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, we've commenced the implementation of 2 rail lines, and this is part of the STMP, which is the Strategic Transport Master Plan. We have 6 rail network in it, the blue line and the red line, and you can see we have commenced the operation of the blue line.
Governor of Lagos State, who added another rail line, this time the red line, Agbado to Marina, with a pledge to complete the first phase from Agbado to Oyingbo. The infrastructure for the red line, which will share tracks with the Nigerian Railway Corporation, the rolling stock to commence the operation of the red line are ready, and the rail line is expected to open to the public soon.
We have heard that complaint we don't have adequacy of buses. But there's a lot we're doing. We're working with our bus operating companies. Government is also looking at providing buses. You must remember that government provided about 850 buses about 3 years ago, and we're working with private sector to also bring buses. A number of private sector companies have indicated interest to bring buses. The federal government is also doing some palliative systems now, where they're looking at helping states to procure more buses. Lagos is actively engaging in that process. We have a number of our bus operating companies who have indicated a willingness to bring more buses, and we're working with them, and we're looking at addition of buses to the tune of about 1,000 in the next 12 months.
As part of intentional plans to integrate all transport modes, Lamata is constructing 2 interchanges at Marina and Mile 2 through a credit from Agence Française de Développement, AFD.
AFD, in conjunction with Lamata, are undertaking a project, the Lagos Strategic Master Plan Project 1. This project consists of the development of 8 quality bus corridors, 2 interchanges, and a number of thematic studies that will aid the management of the transportation sector. The Marina and Mile 2 iconic multimodal interchange projects enhance connectivity between rail, bus, and water transportation.
We have 2 interchanges that are in the pipeline. The design for those 2 are completed. There's one in Marina and there's one in Mile 2. Those 2 locations are strategic for Lagos in terms of public transport. In Marina we have, and both Marina and Mile 2 actually, we have all modes of transportation that exist in Lagos. We have the road, we have the rail, and we have the waterways. And the whole point is to ensure that those 3 modes, you can interchange between them in less than 5 minutes. And that interchange also allows you to have connectivity and to ensure that you can do this position where I described, where you can start from home and end up at your destination, your office, your school, your hospital, wherever, utilizing public transportation. And these interchanges will affect that, will provide that effective connectivity between modes.
These projects are expected to commence at the start of 2024. First quarter 2024. It is expected that these projects will assist in ensuring a multimodal integrated transport system for Lagos.
To achieve this, Lamata is backed by a crop of professionals who are daily working round the clock to ensure that all transport projects within its purview are timeously delivered and within budget.
To give, cognition to my predecessors that started the Blue Line, but thankfully we've been able to fast track it and complete it, and it's working, which is the phase 1 of it. The phase 2 of it, yes, we've also awarded the contract, and I can assure you that the phase 2 will not take half of the time that it took us from phase 1. Phase 1 was a learning process, was a difficult line because half of the line, or even more than that, is elevated. But thankfully, phase 2 is not elevated, probably only at the last point when it gets into, the stations, the service stations. So it's been awarded, and I'm hoping and I'm believing, and we're going to do everything possible that we finish and commission phase 2 before the end of my administration. We want Lagosians to have the full effect, to have the full opportunity to feel, the entire solution that the Blue Line brings, which is all the way from Okokomaiko to Marina. And so we're believing that the work that would start from Mile 2 going back to Okokomaiko should be completed, because that's where we're using a lot of creative funding and financing option to ensure that the contractor does not get out of sight, it doesn't abandon the job, and they've given us assurance that in 2 to 2.5 years it should be completed.
I am a very happy man. I'm very happy in the sense that the world today is about starting something. You don't have to finish it. If you finish it yourself, then you have not left a legacy.
The next 20 years will undoubtedly be challenging as new job centers, housing estates, recreational centers are bound to develop, and transport infrastructure would be required, especially as the population of Lagos is projected to reach 40 million inhabitants by 2050.
The transport system in Lagos contributes about 20% of the greenhouse gas. And what I expect in the next 20 years is that we will cut that by more than half. And so our transport network will be greener. You would have buses that run on CNG and eventually electric. Most of our rail system will run on electric. And obviously we know that water transportation does not emit greenhouse gas. So I expect the network to be green. I expect it to be faster. And I expect it to be affordable and for it to be a good option for people to use to move from one point to the other.
So kudos to you, Lamata. You have tried. And I want to encourage Lamata to keep the flag flying. We have embodiment of quality people in Lamata. We have best brain that you can have anywhere in Lamata. And I want to really appreciate all the staffs for their work. People can see it, Lagosians can see it. Lagosians is identified with your success. Lagosians is identified with what you have been able to do. You have been able to contribute immensely to the economic development of Lagos State.
I see a Lagos in 20 years with an effective integrated intermodal transport system that allows me to start from home fully confident that I can use public transport to get to my destination, wherever that is, and not have to take my car, and know that I can, one, afford it, and it will be on time, and it will be predictable.
Lagos State transportation in the next 20 years, to me, with what we've done so far, we think we have set the template. And we continue with this template. We're going to see that we're going to have the 6 rail network, and then have more BRT, which is identified as the BRT functional. And then the effort the government is putting now is to enhance and then promote the transport, water transport as well.
Lamata would play a major role in ensuring that the transportation system in Lagos is integrated and seamless, using the appropriate technology, especially homegrown ones. Lamata is poised to keep alive the state's vision for public transportation, which will keep Lagos moving.
Well done, Lamata. Well done, all of those who have kept the torch flying and the torch flaming. Well done to Dr. Mobereola, who started this journey, and of course to Mrs. Akeanju now, who has continued the relay. Long may it continue. May this results-driven enterprise continue. Congratulations.